Hi, for AP Literature, we read the book The Stranger, written in 1942 by Albert Camus. And overall, I found this book very interesting, and in a way, I felt that it reflected us because I felt a connection to the main character, Meursault. Well, um, before explaining my opinion, I think we should address the fact that Meursault comes across as someone who follows the existentialist philosophy and is only concerned with himself. And people tend to forget the events surrounding us and disregard others, especially in stressful times. And we do become narrow minded in our lives and act in regard to ourselves. The Stranger is a perfect example of this attitude and makes it a lifestyle for Meursault. And it shows that we truly can live a life focused on ourselves, that we become a threat to society. And that threat to society comes to the fact that people in a community have responsibilities, especially of not becoming an outcast. And I think the character Meursault um, is, for instance, an example that he did not care for others, and that soon led him to being executed for his actions that he pursued without thinking of the effect on others. And therefore, we truly can live a life without the concern of others and also living it through free will. And the character Meursault was definitely very strange, especially in the beginning when we open the book with the death of his mother, which is a very odd beginning for a book, and it's very eye opener. Like, I never read a book that started with a funeral, and I think it was a great beginning because usually books have a slow beginning of explaining where things are, the setting, the people. And I like this beginning because it's not like the others, and it soon shows Meursault's personality and how indifferent he is to the world. And in this beginning part, the funeral was very strange because, and as everyone would expect for children to grieve their parents' death, Meursault did not do this. He was very distant and untouched by Mom's death, and I kind of like felt sympathy for him because before reading the whole book, I thought, oh, maybe something happened and he wasn't close to his mother, and I thought that was very sad. Or maybe um he did not, like, I thought there was a factor for him to being distant, but as the story progressed, we find that Meursault is just like that. He's just someone who sees no purpose in the future or in the universe and doesn't really have an opinion on things. For example, when Raymond asks him if his mistress deserves to be punished, he just agrees with Raymond. He really doesn't have an opinion or does not think of what is good or what is bad. And it's kind of weird. Well, it's weird because usually people have a moral compass, and for example, I would say that is bad, that he shouldn't punish his mistress, and someone can say that is good. But him not saying, just agreeing, is kind of weird and very, like, I don't want to bother with my opinion. But also, I think this ties to the existentialist philosophy that there is no purpose in the opinion, or there's no purpose in our actions. And this is very continuous to the story. For example, um, we think that Meursault maybe is capable of love, and that love did not happen with his mother, but maybe it can happen with Mary. However, that is not true because Mary asks him multiple times if he loves her, and he's like, "No, I do not love you." It's like, um, I don't love you, but I do find pleasure in your company, which is very weird because they do spend a lot of time together and do many activities, and they like their company, but it's like he doesn't like the concept of love, like he doesn't fully understand it, he finds it weird, and therefore he says, "No, I don't think I love you." And when Mary asked him if he wanted to get married, he was like just agreeing again. He really did not say like yes or no, he just goes along and goes with the flow. And I never met someone like that before, that would just agree with anything and really not have a care in the world, because his actions never had specific reasons why he did it. For example, that he killed the Arab. One may say that he killed the Arab because he felt threatened, or the circumstances he found himself in, like the amount of heat and previous drinking. But I think he just did things because he wanted to, or he just felt in the moment. Because there wasn't a reason for the Arab to threaten him in the first place, and he had a gun too. So there's really no apparent reason for his actions. He just does things without concerning others, like without thinking the effect on others. And that can also be selfish because, in as I said in the beginning, we do have our own society to contribute and make a sustainable place. And if you had suppose you have everyone is like Mersal, that they don't care, they just do what they want without concerning others, then society will be very chaotic. And I do not agree with Mersal's attitude and actions. I do think people should take in consideration the effect on others before doing something, and that our role is to make society better and not just destroy it or just do as we please. I do agree with the idea that we need to have our own society and work together to achieve it. So, oh, in conclusion, I did like this book. It was boring at times, but I did like it in a sense that it was very different from what I read before, especially the character Masalt. I never saw someone like that before in any movies, or read about someone who was so carefree and did not have a reason behind their actions. So I like this book, but it was hard to understand also.